For so many of us who are founders or leaders, the daily grind is just survival, right? It's all about keeping the lights on, keeping the mission alive today. But what about tomorrow? In this explainer, we're going to talk about making that huge shift from just surviving day to day to actually building something that's meant to last. Wow, this question, it just gets right to the heart of everything, doesn't it? It connects this big idea of legacy to something real, something you can almost touch. Family, history, the ground beneath our feet. It shows us it's not some abstract business term. It's deeply, deeply personal. And there it is. That's the question that keeps so many passionate leaders up at night. I mean, you've poured your blood, sweat, and tears into this thing, your brand, your community. But if the entire plan for what comes next lives only inside your head, well, that whole beautiful structure is way more fragile than you think. And that brings us to a place that, let's be honest, many of us know all too well. We're calling it the survival mode trap. It feels normal, even necessary, but it's actually one of the biggest dangers to the long-term health of whatever you're building. I bet this sounds familiar. The pressure is just immense, right? The only plan you have time for is getting through today. Put out the fires, serve the mission, just survive. Thinking about the future? That feels like a total luxury you just can't afford right now. But here's the thing, the hard truth we have to face. Later isn't some date on a calendar, far, far away. Nope. Later shows up, unexpectedly, every single day. And being unprepared for it, that's what really threatens your work, way more than any daily crisis. Okay, so let's make this real. What does it actually look like when later just shows up at your door, totally unannounced? Well, it usually sounds like a bunch of really stressful questions hitting you all at once. Just think about it for a second. Your key person quits. And just like that, a massive chunk of your organization's memory, its knowledge, walks right out the door with them. All those relationships, the little processes nobody wrote down, the secret sauce of how things really get done, poof, it's gone. The whole operation can just grind to a halt. Oh, this is a big one. Funders, partners, investors, they need to see that you've got a vision for sustainability. If you can't tell them a clear story about where you're going, their confidence in where you are right now just evaporates. And that's a direct threat to your funding. And maybe this is the most important one of all. What about you, the founder, the leader? Burnout is so real. If the entire mission depends on your personal energy, what happens when you hit empty? Does the mission just stop when you do? Now, this is such a critical insight. It's not a failure of heart. It's not a lack of passion or brilliant ideas. The weak point, time and time again, is the lack of a plan for what's next. The passion is there in spades. The structure just isn't. So what's the fix? Well, it all starts with completely reframing how we think about the word legacy. It is not this fuzzy, sentimental thing you worry about when you retire. No, it's a core business function. It's a system. And here's where you can really see that shift in thinking. On one side, you have legacy as just a feeling, an afterthought. It's vague. On the other, you have legacy as a system. It's a deliberate business function, something you actively build and manage from day one. And the system, it actually has a name, Legacy Logic 10. The best way to think about it is as a strategic blueprint. It's the plan that ensures your work, your values, your impact, all of it can survive and even thrive, whether you're at the helm or not. It's literally about future-proofing your mission. Okay, that all sounds great in theory, but what does it actually look like in the real world? Well, let's check out a really powerful story that shows what happens when ownership gets combined with some serious intentional planning. So let's talk about Stephanie Franklin. She's the founder of Franklin Vines, and her story is just a fantastic case study in turning raw potential into a lasting, thriving legacy. It really proves this whole framework isn't just an idea, it really works. So here's how her journey unfolded. It started with an asset, this piece of inherited land. But see, the land itself was just potential. The real magic happened in the next steps, getting everyone aligned on a vision, creating a plan, and then taking deliberate action, stewardship. That's what turned the potential into a real, thriving legacy business. Stephanie's story is so inspiring, and it gives us a model we can follow. So, how can you start building your own blueprint? Well, it really breaks down into 8 key areas, or pillars. A really solid legacy plan isn't just one document, it's a whole system, and it's built on these pillars. This is the core of legacy logic. We're talking about concrete things like succession planning, who's up next, and funding readiness. Can you prove you're built to last? But it's also about the nitty-gritty, like infrastructure mapping, and the human side, like building your team capacity and figuring out how to transfer the narrative and brand. It's the whole shebang, from purpose to policy. This is the real blueprint. And let's be really clear about something people get hung up on. As soon as you say succession planning, people think it's about you planning to leave. But that completely misses the point. This isn't about planning your exit. It's about protecting your mission. It's a powerful, proactive move to make your work strong enough to withstand anything. So all of this brings us to the final and I think most essential takeaway. This is about making a fundamental shift in how we think about the work we do and the impact we want to have on the world. Just let that sink in for a second. You could be doing the most important, world-changing work, but if all that knowledge, all the processes are locked inside your head, it's incredibly fragile. The goal has to be building something that's bigger than any one person. And this, right here, is the core philosophy. Legacy isn't some trophy you get at the end. It's not a destination. It's how you travel. It's the choices you make every single day, in how you build, how you share knowledge, and how you empower others. So let's end right where we started, with a choice. Take a hard look at what you're doing right now. Are you just building for today? Or are you building something that will last? The choice and the legacy that follows is yours.